I'm going to start up the Corpus VR session, and therefore I have to start up the headset by pressing the power button, activate the controller to the headset by pressing the Pico button, and then I can simply select the app by clicking on the trigger. When the app is active on the headset, I'm going to log in on the tablet. Enter my login name and my password, and then I'm up and running for my patient. When I've activated the devices and I have a new client, I can add the new client by clicking on the blue line and fill in the mandatory fields with the asterisks for the first name, last name, gender, and birthday. If I filled those mandatory fields, then I can click on Add, and my client is added to the Corpus VR portal. The next step is to click on the patient's name, select Treatment, and create a new treatment where you have the mandatory part of the name of the treatment. And for instance, if your patient has low back pain, you can add that as the description and the name of the therapy plan, and you click Add, and then you can go back to the client data and say Start Session. I'm going to hand over the headset, which is cleaned already. You can put it on, and I will help you in the further process. Is the Corpus VR logo in front of you?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to make it straight for you by pressing the Pico button. It's straight now for you?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm also asking if the VR glasses feels comfortable, or does it need to be a little bit more tight?
It can be a bit looser.
Okay. Is it loose enough for you?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if it's not, the image is not that sharp, you can always hold your hands on the side and bring it up and down a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great. Yes. Then I'm going to start the session of Corpus VR with the range of motion of the cervical spine. You will see the logo and the blue environment. And the blue environment will say to you, look straight ahead.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. You may turn your head to the right side, over the line. Don't force yourself. And I can also add a note by asking my patient at the end of the movement how the stiffness feels with a numeric rating scale. Okay, so if you're at the end of the movement, do you feel any stiffness?
A bit.
And if you can give it a number between 0 and 10?
4.
4. So it's on a numeric rating scale, NRS. You can do the side lines and downwards. Yes, and you can do the tilt movement, left ear to the left side. And you see I'm holding my hand on your shoulder, so make sure your shoulder and your trunk isn't turning while you're making the range of motion of the head. The other part we can also see is if you make a turn with your head, the circumduction, so all the movements combined. And that also gives a lot of information. And the information is that you can move smoother to the right side than to the left side due to the circumduction. After I performed a range of motion with my patient, I'm going to add the exercises by pressing that button. Then I can select on the left side the area I want to train. For now it's the head, and then on the right side I can choose from 12 different cervical spine exercises. For instance, the flying dragon, the minor, the roboto, and the starry sky. And if I click on the cross, then I can start the first exercise. So I'm going to start with the flying dragon. Before you enter that new environment, you will see back the movement we just visualized, the flexion and extension, the rotation, lateral flexion, and everything we have been moving with the cervical spine, and you always get a compliment. Way to go, go further. In this environment, you are in a Japanese garden. You can look around and you're going to search for fish which are floating in the sky, and a Chinese dragon is going to eat them. Your dragon is white and you have to search for 5 different fish so your dragon becomes white, from white color to a green color. And the range of motion I can also adjust by adding more degrees, and on this same part I can see on the dashboard that if you move further, the fish is going to be put beyond the white line, and sometimes it stays a little bit in the middle to give your patient a rest pace, and then the next one is further than what we have measured before. I can also turn off the target indicator, and that means that the patient has to search for the next fish, so he doesn't have an indication where it is, and that gives more movement. So he's really searching, and you can always put it on again. And there. If I want to go to the minor, I click on that exercise and press the play button. And again here, in between the new exercises, you see the movement, and everything which is green beyond the blue line is what your patient has been moving further. In the minor exercise, you are in a temple, a Maya temple. You can also adjust the loudness or softness of the headset, the volume. Now it's a little bit louder. And what the patient has to do here is he has to select the crystals by looking at them, and then the white circle is filling until it's complete, and then you add the new crystal in your mind card. You have different environments. You are in a tunnel, or with the part where you can change the settings. You can also choose an open mind, and then your patient is in a different environment in the same game. For instance, you can adjust the speed by clicking on the icons, and then the mind card is going to go faster or slower. And for the next exercise, it's a roboto. It's an exercise which the patient comes into a robotic city. And of course here again, what the patient is moving further, he sees back by the green line beyond the blue line. In a robotic city, he has to follow the robot by turning his head, and he has to follow until the circle is completely red, and then the next one is coming out of it. Also here you can adjust the speed, you can adjust if the patient has to hold the end position of the movement by looking at the bolt which comes out of the robot. I can also turn that off. So this one is for the rotation to the left or the right side of the cervical spine. And the last one is the starry sky. I'm going to send Patrick to. So this exercise is to turn your head every way up and down by making your own constellations. And in the meanwhile, you are in a spaceship looking through the windows and making your own constellations. If the patient is ready with the treatment, then you can click on Stop Session and then on Stop Session. And you can ask your patient to take off the headset. And I always say, welcome back.